Welcome to EFT Nation, your home for all things tapping. For show notes and resources, please visit EFTtappingtraining.com. We are your tapping hosts. I'm Alina Frank.
And I'm Craig Wiener. The information provided in this podcast is not a substitute for counseling or medical advice. The information presented here is meant to inspire and educate listeners, but are not guarantees of any kind.
All right. So today I thought we would have a discussion about relationships, romantic relationships. And I think we'll do a series because we've focused over the years on when you're in a relationship and there are problems. Another is when the issues surrounding being single and wanting to attract a romantic partner. And then the third area is around sex and intimacy challenges. So I think today, what's up that I wanted to talk about was really how to work with, you're in a romantic relationship and there are problems. We're recording this during, the coronavirus stuff. And it was fascinating to me, but not surprising, that when the lockdown eased up in China, they had a record number of people going. First place they went was government offices to file for a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're saying that the lockdown with being forced to stay together created a lot of opportunities for discord.
Yeah, I think
or clarity for the relationship not working.
Exactly. So I think it's just probably, the problems were likely always there. It's just that they were exacerbated by being together 24/7.
Mm-hmm. So the use of EFT then would be best utilized how? Somebody that is in a challenging relationship, going through some sort of conflict, and whether it moves toward healing or separation or divorce or whatever else, what would be the purpose of using tapping for that then? To fix the other person?
Oh, never to fix the other person. That doesn't work.
Okay. So what would it be used for?
It would be used for you feeling more peaceful, owning your own part of the problem, looking for patterns that have existed probably even before this current relationship, if you've had multiple romantic relationships. And so there are predictable patterns of when things aren't going right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as unique as the current relationship problem is, right, or with this person, et cetera, what you're saying is that we can often look to it being only the current manifestation of an existing problem that's been there beyond this person.
Yeah. And sometimes even, many times even, it'll go back even to childhood and, your relationship with your mother, your father, your primary caregivers.
Oh, that whole I married my mom, you married your dad thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
So where does a person begin to explore, where do you even start with this? When, whether you're doing your own tapping, whether you're working with a practitioner, where do you begin with this? Because it can get complicated and overwhelming.
Yeah, it's always advisable to start where you are. Start on how you feel currently right now about where your relationship is at, and write down specific events. Like yesterday, he didn't take out the garbage. And I know that he hasn't taken out the garbage a million times. But really, to use EFT effectively and to save yourself, hours and hours of not getting anywhere, really write down the last time it happened, when you think it might happen again, and that will start the ball rolling for other events that you have to work on. So recent, current, and future. We're always stressing that. It's the safest, most accessible events that you can get to with EFT, just with, your memory.
So I know that there's a wide variety of listeners here, right? We have everybody from EFT practitioners to somebody that's brand new to EFT, to master trainers, and everything in between.
Yep.
So within EFT, there are many different techniques.
Right.
And so what we're saying, where you would begin, even in just how to actually physical do the tapping, whether it's, my spouse doesn't want to go to counseling, whether it's he didn't he yelled at the kids, whether it's didn't take out the garbage, didn't do what I asked, whether it's not listening to me and interrupting me, whatever it is, how would one begin to just start tapping to reduce the intensity of that?
You write it down.
Okay.
So let's actual event. Okay. So with the practitioners that we're training to be going through certification to become practitioners, one of the things that I tell them is if you can start off the sentence by the time when, then you're being specific enough. We're looking for an actual event. It doesn't mean that you have to necessarily say, oh, it happened December 24th, 2018. Not that level of specificity, because most people don't remember dates, but an actual scene where something is happening, a phone call. Where did you find out that he didn't want to go to counseling? That was either a phone call or an email or some conversation. And so
let's make this very real. So let's just take that as an example.
Okay.
So
he doesn't want to go to counseling.
So all right. So if you were the client, or you were doing it for yourself.
I'm angry because he won't go to counseling.
And how do you know he won't go to counseling?
We had a conversation and he said, no way, no how, I'm not going.
Okay, got it. And so thinking right now.
Yes.
About that conversation.
And it's happened before.
Of course, I bet it's happened before, but I'm going to try to limit you to help you with a bite size, which is just this one time.
Yes.
And I know it has the energy and it's like other times.
Yes.
So I get that.
Yes.
But just so you don't get so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it happened yesterday. Yep. You were having the conversation. He said, you were saying, I want you to go to counseling. You said he said, no way, no how.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, thinking about that, how does that, not how you felt yesterday, right now, how does it feel?
I feel angry.
Got it. Now I want to have a sense of how angry. So like 0 to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're on a scale.
8.
8. Okay. Now, one beautiful thing I'll also ask you to see if you feel is, do you notice that feeling of angry anywhere in your body?
Yeah, in my chest.
In your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have what you're tapping on.
Yep.
We have how you feel about it and how much you feel it.
Yep.
We have where you feel it in your body. That's everything we need to create this tapping statement to know what to start tapping on, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So where you would begin, whether you're tapping on yourself, because everybody will say listening is probably tapping with themselves, would say something like tapping on the side of their hand.
Yes.
Right? Even though I feel angry.
I feel angry.
And I feel it in my
chest. I feel it in my chest.
Yeah. Thinking about.
Yesterday when he said, no way, no how, I'm going to counseling.
Right. I still deeply and completely accept myself.
So you would do that 3 times at the side of the hand.
Right.
And then the reminder phrase on the rest of the points would be this anger.
On the top of the head, for example.
This anger, this anger, this anger, this anger.
Right.
And or this anger in my chest. And keep it that simple.
Right. So top of the head.
Yes.
Right. The eyebrow point.
Yeah.
The side of the eye.
Yes.
How many times tapping? 5 to 7 times, whatever.
Yeah.
Under the eye,
and
under the nose.
We've covered this.
Yeah, I know. But chin point, I'm reminding them. They may not have been here before.
Uh-huh.
Collarbone points and underarm. And then I'd have you check back. Okay, yeah. So right now, thinking about yesterday when he said, no way, no how.
Yeah.
Anger, 0 to 10, where are you now?
Okay, so I'm not feeling as angry anymore. I'm feeling more sad.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, that's called a shifting aspect.
Okay. Does that happen a lot?
It happens all the time with EFT. And that's why people think that they are not making progress, is because it's shifted to either a different emotion, a different event, something along those lines. And what we're recommending is that if you are working by yourself, alone in a room by yourself, working on your issues, then you need to just write down those other shifting aspects that come into your mind and work on them later. Keep working on the original thing that you started with, the original event, emotion, where it is in the body that you started with, until you get that to a 0 before going and looking at your paper and seeing the other shifting aspects that were there. And so, I mean, this is where people kind of lose faith and they think, oh, it's going to take me forever to tap on all these events and all these aspects and all these, but that's not, we do have the generalization effect.
What's that?
Which means you don't have to necessarily tap on every single thing for the problem to resolve itself.
Because in a relationship, that could be overwhelming all the different times, right? So number 1, start with what's currently happening, right?
then your history of your relationship, all the things that happened in the course of your relationship that you can remember that still bother you on some level, and go through the same process. Now, the warning here is, if it becomes too much of a hairball, it's connected to many things, and you can't, and you don't see the problem resolving itself. Or if you've had some big T traumas connected to this relationship, then we advise you to go seek the help of a professional EFT practitioner, certified, who knows how to navigate this. Will ask you the right questions. We'll tease it apart. We'll ask the questions that you're not finding to ask yourself. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So then you're working on all the current stuff. You're working on the history of the relationship. You also, I would say, it really does behoove you to write the list of past romantic relationships and what was going on in those relationships, and then try to identify a pattern. So here are some likely scenarios. So one is that you have a pattern of being with people that just, they don't treat you as well as you should be treated, or like you would like to be treated romantically. If that's the case, I want you to look for how, it's not 100%, but it's so high in percentage that I just feel like it is like a general rule of thumb, that if that's going on in past relationships and current relationship, look to events that have to do with your mother, from ages 0 to 6, especially around events with your mother where she didn't love you the way you wanted to be loved. Okay. All right. The other predictable pattern, and the source of it and the root of it, is if you have some things that bother you about your partner's behaviors, meaning let's say that you really respect people that are open-minded and your romantic partner is not open-minded. If that is a real value for you, I guarantee that it's going to rub you the wrong way. You might be critical of your partner for not being open-minded. And it's just the way that they are, and there's really nothing that you can do about it. And so your annoyance over that makes it show up even more in the relationship. And this is really about, this one, it has to do with father issues. So look at the times in from 0 to 6, significant events having to do with your father. And then lastly, the predictable pattern is things around sex and intimacy. And so what we can say about that is, not always, but good rule of thumb is that there was probably some sexual injury in your past, in your childhood, that makes it tricky or challenging for you to have the sexual, the sexual chemistry and the intimacy
and the
safety to be able to have that, right? In order to have intimacy, you've got to have safety. So that's a reason why it might be showing up in this relationship or in past ones where it was really lacking.
Right. And if you're really working with issues that have to do with lack of safety with regard to the past, right, with regard to your physical and sexual well-being, please take that to work with a professional. Exactly. That's not something you should be doing on your own.
Yeah. So it's our feeling that, some relationships are meant to last a lifetime. So it's a season, a reason, or a lifetime that you're in a relationship. And so the lifetime, it's when it's going well, or it's hell, but you're together for whatever reasons. There are many reasons why people stay married and stay in a relationship when it's suboptimal. We hear it all the time. But so that's or it could be wonderful bliss and no problems. And I'm not kidding when I say that. I think our next podcast will be around the singles, how to find your ideal romantic partner. Because when you are in that ideal romantic partnership, there are no like fights and a repeating pattern of of like a lot of animosity between you, or shut down or freeze, and that kind of thing doesn't happen. So I was going to suggest that, I think it's all about, so that's the lifetime. Then there's a reason. Sometimes we're together with someone because they are there to move us in a certain direction, on a different path than we would have taken before. And sometimes it is a season that we're together where we're still learning lessons from our partner, but we're really not meant to be with them forever. And I love that someone once said to me that being in a romantic relationship is akin to being an alien from outer space, being dropped in the middle of a classroom, but not understanding the language, the culture, the habits, just don't understand why we're even there until we leave. And then we're told, oh, you were with this person for this reason. And we don't know. Sometimes it is that you feel so empowered that you end up leaving a relationship, which was my case before meeting this guy.
And the season?
The season, yeah. It's for learning lessons. Mm-hmm. Right. Definitely learning lessons.
So it's okay for some relationships to have a limited time.
Yeah. And
move on.
Right.
But, you got what you needed out of it. You both grew.
Right.
And
if that's the case of what's going on right now for you, you absolutely tap on the feelings that you have about breaking off,
right,
breaking up, the fear that you have of maybe being alone or losing, like social circles and things like that for people.
Sure. The losses associated with ending a relationship.
Yes.
On one hand, you feel called to because I just can't take it anymore.
Yes.
But I do the healing I need to so that I can then leave on the best terms possible in integrity, but often have to do tapping around the losses that are involved.
Right.
Social constructs, what people will say.
Yes.
Causing hurt.
Right.
All those things that are just so woven into our way of being around relationship.
Right.
And the change of status.
Right. I mean, because I could tell you till I'm blue in the face that a reason to end a relationship that is suboptimal or where you're not feeling happy is also because you really don't have a crystal ball. And wouldn't you want your partner to be in a relationship where someone is loving them the way they want to be loved and having a peaceful, long-term relationship? Of course, you don't know that you might be limiting that person's ability to find that in another person. But I mean, that's not going to help you, because the help is going to come when you transform how you feel about something, and then through EFT, and then very quickly witness the changes that happen in you to feel more peaceful, calm, regulated, and less triggered. I share the story of, my ex used to be late all the time, and I tapped on him being late, and that was no longer a fight. That he, in fact, he stopped being late as a result of
you
me
tapping on your resistance to the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I still divorced him.
Right.
So,
but you ended up being at peace with that. And when we are the change we wish to see in the world, circumstances and people around us do change. It's
absolutely
pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us today at EFT Nation. And remember that you can find show notes and previous episodes at EFTtappingtraining.com.